like a player or anything. That's just a regular old jersey.
Yeah.
So you know what? I feel like those jerseys
Safe.
sometimes are the best because you don't know, like players get traded all the time. I mean, sometimes it's good to just have just a plain old jersey. That way you're always safe, you know? You don't have to worry about burning your jersey because I know how that's what you guys do over there in Cleveland when you guys trade people.
I haven't done that yet. I still got autograph Baker jersey up there on the wall.
Baker, and he's at the Bucks now, huh?
Yeah.
Good for
Hope things
him.
go well for him. I got a crazy amount of his rookie cards and autograph cards. If anybody out there is interested, hit me up.
Dude, I'm telling you what, that man's cars are going to be worth millions. I know it.
Yeah.
One of these days. Maybe not right now, but eventually. Recliner Sports Reporters, thanks for tuning in to another week's episode of Keep the Change podcast. I'm Mac, and with me is Robbie. Robbie, how has the last week been, my friend?
Oh, it's been Ohio weather. We had some 60-degree weather. We had some 17-degree weather, got some rain, got some snow. But, we're just hanging in there. It's still got some basketball going, getting ready for baseball. Got 2 days till opening day at this point, which it's going to be a rough first week of the season for us Indians fans because they're on a West Coast swing. So there's going to be a lot of late night baseball.
Oh man, it's so crazy when that dude like the games are starting at like over our time it's going to be like 10 p.m. and
Yeah.
it's just yeah, and that's definitely some big jet lag over there for sure. I think that really does play a play a big part. Matthew McConaughey was just on Barstool and he was talking about like when he goes into like placing bets, he's like, I like to think that like if San Francisco is traveling to Miami, like they're gonna have a slow first half because they're gonna be flying, they're gonna be a little constipated. Like I'm like, that is so crazy. And like Matthew McConaughey, you really would like think of stuff like that.
Oh, I
But it's
know.
so true. That's definitely gonna have an effect on the players. That I mean UFC does it, like when they have fights in other countries and they're starting at different times, they're trying to keep it, to whoever the home country is. But then there's other fighters, from America who are going to be on different times. And, fighters have talked about that in the past, how like when they were fighting in Abu Dhabi, like they're going in and it's 10 a.m. there, but it's 6 p.m. or whatever here, and it's just like
Mhm.
yeah, it messes with there. That changes the way you eat, that changes the
Yep.
way you wake up. Like it's all affected.
You also
Um,
get there a little bit ahead of time, a few weeks ahead of time, get adjusted.
yeah, you have to, I think, right? And I think they should allow that to happen more in professional sports. Um, I mean, we're jumping right into MLB opening day, and you have to go travel right out there.
Yeah.
And they've been just enjoying spring training too, the warm weather. Oh, it's dude, I have a feeling baseball is going to be really weird to watch this year. This whole pitch clock thing hasn't made the game any better. I don't
No.
think. I mean, they've gone through it now, spring training. I know we talked about it a couple podcasts ago, but I don't think the spring training showed that the pitch clock was the way to go, man.
No, I think it was a bust. It's just I don't know. It's dumb. Watching a player take a step out in the middle of an at bat where they're battling, take a step out after fighting off a tough pitch, adjust their gloves, take a breath, get their composure, step back in, getting ready, gets called out on strikes.
Yeah, that
Like,
shouldn't be happening.
no, that's not a baseball. That's not a part of the game.
That takes away the whole game right there. And you don't want to see games end like that.
Yeah,
You want to see batters be ready. You want to see batters at their best. You want to see pitchers at their best. I mean, it's already hard enough to hit a 90-mile-per-hour baseball. And I remember when like sports science did that. Like, is it harder to hit a pitch or save a penalty kick? And like, it's the science behind that stuff. They have less than a second to react to that ball. You have to be there mentally. Plus, that ball's the pitchers. You want the pitchers to be able to be there
yeah,
100% because if they are out of rhythm and they throw a wild pitch, batters are going to get hurt. Like
yeah.
it's a dangerous thing. I think if anything, speeding up the game. Um, Again, I think the only benefit is games are definitely moving a lot quicker now. Um, but I'm not a fan overall of everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of not being a fan, Lamar Jackson, man, requested a trade. Oh man, and the pot is stirring here because you got the Jets who are trying to finalize a deal with Aaron Rodgers, but now you got this out of there. I mean, what would you do if you're the Jets?
I think the Jets are already in bed with Aaron Rodgers at this point. I think that the only person crazy enough, or maybe, with enough extracurricular confidence as an owner might be Jim Irsay. And the Colts are sitting there with the first overall pick. I wouldn't be surprised if Irsay doesn't, just decide one night, you know what? Okay, let's just go.
Let's
Give them whatever they want. Let's get Lamar Jackson.
because they just released Matt Ryan. That's
They haven't.
uh
I don't think they've had a starting quarterback 2 years in a row since Andrew Luck.
no, they haven't. They haven't because it was what was it, Wentz and then Ryan.
Yep.
That would be a good spot. I mean, Carolina could be another good landing spot for Lamar. Um, I still keep bringing them up. You know, Miami, there's still a lot that's going on with Tua, not knowing if he's going to be back.
Yep.
And he fits Mike McDaniel's offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could fit. Um, I kind of like, I think it was me and you were talking about it, just a clean trade of Fields for Jackson, just a Bears and Ravens, just a
I
clean
don't think
trade.
I was talking. That was. I don't think that was me. But whew, I don't think that happens.
No, I don't think it happens. But we kind of talked about it last week with like Cam Newton. You got guys like Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders. You got guys like Derek Carr going to the Saints. The fact that Lamar Jackson is just sitting here right now, former MVP, and he's just sitting there, not really on
There's
a team.
collusion. There's got to be fucking collusion
Yeah.
in the league, man. It's just wrong.
Now,
Because
yeah,
the
what is
fact
it
that
though?
that
What
dude
kind of
doesn't
collusion
have
is this?
one single offer, it's the NFL owners are blackballing him. It's because he doesn't have an agent and he's trying to do it himself. Which, it may cost him more than what is it? I think agents' fees are 3%. So when all is said and done, it might end up costing him more than that 3%, trying to, be savvy and work out his own deals and be his own agent. Or I think his, if I remember correctly, just I'll represent him.
Has it come
Is that,
out
is
why
that
he
what it
doesn't have an
was?
agent? Am I being a bad journalist here? Why doesn't he have an agent?
I think it was his personal choice.
It
Just
makes you wonder though, because there's always that shady side of the agents, but then it's stuff like this where it's like this is where having an agent I feel like would be really, really beneficial for you right now.
yep. Him and Josh Allen were drafted in the same class back in 2018. If I remember correctly, I think I saw something today. To this point in their career, Josh Allen's made $65 million, whereas Lamar Jackson's made 27.
Because that's the thing is like the agent, they know the bigger deal that they get the player they're getting, so they're fighting for you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They have
yeah,
they have they have all the reason to fight for the player, right? Like
exactly.
they want the player to make the most money because that helps them. So there's no bad. I don't see the bad thing of having an agent besides like, yeah, okay, there's a 3%, but it's mostly because that agent was doing their job to get that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
See
I
if
don't
Tom
know.
Cruise can come out of retirement, get Jerry
Yeah,
Maguire in there, and show him.
show me the money. I just think I think it's a disgrace that I actually I honestly disgrace is the right word. I think it's hilarious that the Ravens are self-imploding right now. They have
Yeah,
just
I mean, it couldn't happen to a better organization.
if there was one, I'm
Yeah, maybe
glad
the Steelers, but but yeah,
Tomlin's not that stupid. That's the thing.
yeah.
Tomlin's a smart man. I don't know what's going on with that
The
Ravens front
Harbaughs are
office.
always think they're the smartest guy in the room.
Fishy hardballs, man. Never been a fan. Never been a
Yeah.
fan. Um, that takes us to an well. Let's see. I before we move on, I hope he finds somewhere. Lamar Jackson, I think, is a instant team changer. He definitely, I think, a little bit different boat than Aaron Rodgers. I think Lamar actually is going to bring, championship value right away, whereas Aaron, you're sitting on maybe 1 or 2 more years of a chance, like a run at it. Where I think Lamar,
Yeah,
you got at least 5 to 10. Um,
as
it's
long as you
sad,
don't get
yeah, it's sad to see it happen to him. This is like a watered down, it almost feels like a watered down version of like what happened to Kaepernick.
still there,
Although,
buddy.
yeah, I'm there. You there?
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was frozen
No,
up.
you're good. I think it's more almost like a watered down version of like kind of what happened to Kaepernick, although Kaepernick was not as high of caliber player as Lamar was at the time that his stuff started going down. But
Yeah.
there's a little bit of similarities going on.
I think in the fact that the it just shows a little bit of the underlying racism in the league, but I feel like Kaepernick's was a little bit self-imposed with
Yep.
the things he said and the things he did, whereas Lamar Jackson doesn't. And I hate the Ravens.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve this.
No, he doesn't. Not
That
at all.
dude's I get he may not have played a little bit at the end of the year, but that was because he didn't feel like the team was willing to pay him and going to give him what he deserved. And they got to protect themselves as players.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he's making the right moves on his end. I hope the Ravens can figure it out. Speaking
yeah,
of other free agents, we got Ezekiel Elliott. Narrowing it down to the Jets and the Bengals, and uh there's one other team in there. Was it the Bears? Maybe. No. Yeah, maybe the Bears too. But Zach Taylor
got a
came
couple,
out. Zach Taylor came
couple
out
of
and
his
said
former teammates in Cincy.
Zach Taylor came out though and said that he likes his team exactly how it is, which I don't know if that's just like Zach Taylor being smart, but um
Hmm.
Zeke, man, he is such a
Who
when
you
he is
replacing P Ryan with?
yeah, well that's another thing for the Bengals. Who are we replacing P Ryan with? We just re-signed Taylor, um which he'll be fine. But I do agree I'd like P Ryan's pass blocking. But then again, I also don't know, you
Zeke can
know,
play center.
yeah, yeah, right. My God, one of the worst plays ever. My thing is that when Zeke's not healthy, what are you paying for? I think that Tony Pollard was clearly becoming running back one in Dallas, anyways. So honestly, are you paying for the name? Does Zeke still have it? Like, what do you think? Where do you think Zeke still has something left in the tank?
Oh yeah, I still think he's got fresh legs for about 10 to 12 carries a game. He can't be an every down back at this point, but if you bring him in somewhere where he's going to be, I wouldn't mind seeing him if Hunt doesn't come back. I wouldn't mind seeing him coming to Cleveland and taking that role. Hey, we just need you to go in there 10, 12 times a game, help keep Chubb's legs fresh, and just run it 120% on those plays. Give us everything you got on those 10 plays.
So that's good. What's going on with the Browns right now? So what's going on with Kareem Hunt?
Still all up in the air. Sounds like he hasn't been getting the offers that he wanted elsewhere and might be starting to lean more towards taking a hometown deal to stay at home, stay in Cleveland. I mean, him and Nick Chubb are like, from everything I read and everything I see, that they're like really, really good friends. Outside of football, these dudes are just good friends. They like each other's company. They feel like they help push each other. So I think they want to stay together. So I'm still hoping. I'm hopeful that Hunt's going to come back, and hopefully we can find a way to utilize him more this year because Stefanski definitely didn't do that last year. I don't know if that was trying to drive down his value so nobody else wanted him, so that way they could pick him up for nothing. But
Now, what are you guys going to do with Stefanski's? That's the other question.
he's got a full year with Deshaun Watson to show if he can do it or not. So I mean, at week 10, if we're 2-8, I think his full year's up at that point. But I think the Browns are going to be really comparable to last year, depending on if Deshaun takes us to that next level. If he
Which he
goes back to
can.
2019, Deshaun Watson, It's going to be a really fun year. But man,
he
there
can
was a
play
lot of
ball.
shots he was still knocking off there.
There's no doubt that he can still play ball. But can he do it with the Browns? That's the question. And again, I think your running backs, I think your running game is really, really well. It's just can he manage the game and get the ball down the field? You guys
We're
have that,
picking up, we're getting some weapons for him. We've got Elijah Moore in a trade,
which is
and
good. That's a great one.
also picked up another speedy guy, Marquise Goodwin. I know he's a vet. He's older, but he's a good locker room guy. He's been around the league, and he's a good route runner. So if you got a quarterback that can extend the play, and you got a guy that's just got quick feet, and he seems like he's known how to get open in his career.
Yeah, I think I think him and then you guys got that tight end still. What's his name?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Chief David Njoku.
Njoku. Yeah. So I mean, you guys have the weapons. Deshaun just needs to manage the game. I think at this
Yep.
point, you guys need someone that's
Another
gonna.
big thing is we got to keep our line healthy, and I need Jedrick Wills to take a step up this year. We drafted the dude in the was it 13th overall, if I remember correctly, or those top 15. I was screaming for Tristan Wirfs that year, banging on the table. I wanted him, didn't get it. Wills has been super inconsistent, and he just gives up on plays. You can't get beat and then just sit there and watch. You got to
Who
keep going.
who do the Browns need first round? Who do they need first round draft pick?
Hell, we don't got one for 3 years, so it don't matter.
When's the
Our
Browns
is,
first pick this year?
I think 74 overall that we just got back in that Elijah Moore trade. So we traded our second round pick and got a third back from the Jets. So we got two in the third, I think two in the fourth, I think two in the fifth, one in the sixth. I don't know about the seventh. I think
You know, a
we
lot
have
of that
one.
gets you a lot of pressure off your back when you don't have to draft in the first round. I think a little.
Yeah, it's like whatever. If somebody falls, we need a D tackle. If it's late in the first round and people are worried about Jalen Carter after that speed racing, Miles Garrett wrecks and flips cars racing. So why not
Yeah,
trade
right.
up and go get the guy?
Fit in right at home in Cleveland.
Yeah. Let me
Um,
go show you the drag strips.
that's yeah. Can't wait. NFL drafts coming up, buddy.
Heck yeah.
That's gonna be exciting. I can't wait to. I'll be
You're
up
going to be
there.
up here.
I'll be up there for that.
Heck yeah.
So that'll be fun. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Um, all right, changing gears. NBA MVP talk. Who I know right now. So the reason I'm bringing this up, there's been a little bit of heat going on in Embiid recently,
Yeah, man.
because
How you going to shy away from your competitor?
yeah,
You got a chance to match up head to head. And
a lot of talk about how Embiid is trying to say, he feels like the pressure is going too much on him, and what's why is it on it? But I also am like, I feel like guys like Kobe and Michael Jordan and LeBron, they knew the pressure was on them, and that's what made them great. But Embiid, at up until this point, is a clear front runner to me as MVP. But now I think after that last night, I think, dude, the Joker might actually have a shot here.
yeah, I definitely think he does. And the one thing that, man, it just it makes me mad that Embiid, maybe he's actually hurt. You got a chance to match up head to head in the last 2 weeks of the season with the guy that you're neck and neck with in the MVP race. You take a rest night. I didn't think Embiid was that soft.
And is that what we were kind of talking about a couple weeks ago? Is that where we're at now with like the NBA getting soft? Like I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just recently put out, he's like, man, we got paid to play 82 games. We didn't get paid to play 74 games. Guys like
Exactly.
Charles Barkley have been very open about it. Guys like Shaq have been very open about it. All the, reporters that have played in the NBA. Now, again, these aren't just reporters. These are reporters that have been in the NBA during the
Hall of
way more
Famers. dude,
the way more physical NBA too, not today's NBA, but the like actually like stadium, the Malice at the Palace like
slam
fight
ball mine the
where it
trampolines.
was almost like hockey of you have fights in the NBA,
Oh
and
yeah.
these guys still figured out how to play the
Man,
game.
they'd get in a fight and they wouldn't get kicked out of the game and they'd be right back out there.
Right. I mean, you
They
got
break up the scrum, get both the sides separated. All right, everybody good? You done? No technicals, nobody's ejected. All right, now finish the game.
yeah, and is that like again kind of prove that point of like that in that moment with Embiid, pulling himself out, is that kind of reiterate the fact of like the NBA's gone a lot softer, man?
I mean, to me, and I thought completely differently up until this. I had Embiid taking the lead in the MVP over the last few weeks. He stepped up, man. He killed us in Cleveland. That was the one game I just was like, man, he's taken it to that next level. We couldn't stop him. There was nothing we could do. But Jokic is Jokic. I mean, the dude's an animal. He
He's
puts up numbers every night, and he can take over a game at any time he wants to. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look smooth, but it just goes and it works. That's all that matters.
the stats speak for themselves. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude's putting up triple doubles left and right.
And
Uh,
unless Embiid does something again, him sitting out in this matchup is going to make me side with the Joker.
yeah, I agree. I think if he does, I think if the Joker doesn't get it, I think there's something going on. And that's unfair for him because he's put up. I mean, what more numbers can you put up? And the dude's played the games. The dude's done the work. The dude's been a poster child for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't get it, what are you saying then? That it's okay to take the time? Like, what are you saying to the rest of the league?
Yeah,
What are you saying to the guys like that? So I think it'd be anything but a robbery if he doesn't get it. Um, I think since we've spoken about it though, a lot has changed in the NBA here. I'm not seeing the Celtics as that tough of a team anymore. They've been
they're falling
blowing.
apart.
They have been falling apart. And again, I think this
Ever
goes.
since Grant Williams said he was going to make both of those free throws, it just hasn't been the same.
And again, I think maybe that brings up the point we were kind of talking about a few weeks ago, which was the move to make um the the interim head coach the full-time head coach. Was that too preemptive of a move? And does he have what it takes to control all those personalities? I think it's definitely having an effect on the Celtics. I think teams like the Sixers have definitely started breaking apart. I think the Cavs have definitely started jumping back up into that top three tier picture. Um, I think the Heat will always be the Heat. Um, the the Nets are just crumbling as an
Yeah.
organization right now.
The
And
only bright spot for them has been Mikal Bridges. He's lighting it up, but
yeah, and
man,
then you
they're
go to
not
the
winning any games.
yeah, and then you go to the West, and Golden State isn't able to piece together. I mean, I watched Curry go and drop 50 points the other night and then still lose, and like that's what's that saying, Um, I don't, and the Mavericks have been falling apart.
That's been
Uh,
the big one for me. I think we've been able to figure out pretty early on that the Kyrie Luca experiment is going to be short lived.
yeah, and again,
I
I don't
don't
know what's going on with
know
that.
Kyrie being on the team opening day next season.
And again, I don't. It's this is actually the one time I don't know. Has there been stuff that's come out that Kyrie's making Luke, or is Luka just not playing well? Like, or
And
is it
it's,
like this is the one time where like Kyrie's actually trying? Maybe he's cursed.
I don't know. It may be just being able to have the ball to have that type of effect. It just throws Luke off. But I don't know, for him to come out and say, I'm just not having fun anymore.
What is that? And that's why it makes you think because you're like, well,
How
there's
how messed up is Kyrie? Is he just sitting there talking conspiracy theories and Luke is here the whole time while they're practicing?
it makes you wonder, right? Because like usually you hear the drama of Kyrie, right? Like everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's Kyrie, Kyrie, Kyrie." Luke is saying he's not happy, but you haven't really heard anything about Kyrie being the reason. But it
It,
makes you wonder. Is
He
does
did
he
get a fan kicked out of the game, and where was that, in New Orleans last night or Charlotte? I think Charlotte.
does he just have a negative cloud that follows him?
Man, I don't know. There's been some great players that just couldn't win. We get to listen to Charles Barkley talk all the time, and Shaq joke with him about it.
All the time. And
But he got that one early and thought he was going to go do it on his own without LeBron, and hasn't been able to figure it out since.
I think him and LeBron, you know what? The Red Sox had their curse with Babe Ruth. I think Kyrie's curse is that he left LeBron. He was cursed from there. I think that could be a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, they can both come back to Cleveland though if they want. We'll sign them both on bet minimum contracts, and they can come off the bench.
At this point, what else do you do if you're Kyrie besides go do a reunion tour with LeBron, right?
I,
And
I I mean, I really could see that happening next year.
I mean, LeBron's got nothing else to lose.
Yeah, why not?
Just let's light this candle, baby. One more time for Cleveland. We're back again.
Worst case scenario, they're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping on basketball, we got the NCAA men's Final Four. First time in a long ever. Not getting fact checked here, but no number one seeds made the Final Four.
Not the first time ever. It was the first time, and I think somewhere in the teens years, but it's been quite a
Been
while.
quite a long time, and what a slate of teams that we have. And I think this just perfectly represents what we've been saying all year, how wild NCAA men's basketball has been. There has been no one that's been safe. There has been no one that's been really, with the exception of one, that's been showing like dominant forces. There's been no one that's been a clear, like, oh, this team's been number one. But the team who has been dominant the whole route through did make their way, and that's UConn. And I'm torn here on this one. Miami, UConn. I think Miami has a lot of talent, and Wong is a beast. But are the Huskies going to be too much for Miami?
And it's just hard to go against a team that's averaging what, about a 15 to 17 point span of victory throughout the tournament. And it's not like they came in as a one seed and were playing a bunch of scrubs. I mean, yeah, they played a 12 seed or a 13 to start, but they had to beat some teams to get here at this point, and they beat everyone they played easily. I think there's a reason Vegas has them as the only team right now that's not plus money to win.
15 points, 15 points. Can't do that math, but like 13, no, 18 points and then 28 points. That's
Oh,
that's
dang. But
that's pretty dominant
yeah,
against Gonzaga, who is a great team.
yeah, great program, get great coach, and got their butts kicked.
And then you got Miami, who's been playing great, but has had some just grinder wins, except for the blowout win against um Indiana, but that one just got ugly late, and that's because
Yeah.
Indiana had to try to jack up some threes. But everything else has been just kind of a grindy win. Um, I I think UConn gets this done. And I hate saying it because I've been so heavy on Miami. I think Miami has every ability to do it. I think Miami to be successful is they have to keep pushing that pace. They have to open up the three-pointer earlier. Their last game, against Texas, Texas got or I think they were 7 for 11 from three-pointers.
Mhm.
And then they went like 3 for 13 in the second half, Texas did, but Miami had only shot, I think, like 4 3-pointers in the first half, where again, against Indiana, when they were lighting it up, I think, you don't want to live and die by the three, but I do think you can't fall behind against a team like UConn because they're showing that they know how to play with the lead and they can dominate really fast. I don't think this is a game where Miami's going to want to have to come from behind and rely on threes. I think they just need to stick to their game plan, and keep pushing the pace the whole time, and don't they can't get without of 8 points because I think if they get outside of 8 points, I don't think there's going to be the 12-point comeback again like they pulled against Texas. UConn, I think UConn just needs to withstand Miami's fast pace. And then
Mhm.
if they just do what they've been doing, I see them again. Could you see that? Them just in a Final Four, just winning another game by 15?
I could. I really could. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't end up winning it all. A double digit margin of victory the entire tournament. I wonder if that's ever happened before. I
Dude,
mean, that's just pure dominance.
I don't know. It was probably a Duke error
Yeah.
uh when they probably did that. But I like it. I had when the tournament started, I did take a couple futures. UConn is still one of my futures, still alive as to reach the finals, and I still have one
Yeah.
to reach the finals and to win the finals. So those two are still open right now. But gonna be a great game. That of the two, I think I'm most excited for that one. But this other one, FAU San Diego State, I think this is just two cool story teams. I
Yeah.
think these are two teams that, FAU, them, I don't think ever even winning a tournament game and are
Nope.
making it to the Final Four in their first year. And then you got a team like San Diego State who has played only the has had one of the toughest routes to get to where they're at, upset Alabama in a great fashion. How do you see this one playing out?
And I'm just gonna keep riding with team basketball at FAU. I want to see the story, and I just really think these guys are just gonna make it happen. I was seeing something about was it Coach May, I believe, down there. Right after he accepted the job, regretted it, and almost recanted on it, and thought about just not doing it. I don't know if he was going to retire or go coach elsewhere. But there's a story that came out today talking about how he went from thinking this may have been the biggest mistake that he had made in his life signing this job to the greatest decision that he had ever made in his life.
Yeah, and again, this right, but that's like perfect of this year of like anything is happening and there's nothing that's outside the table, which is why I think you're right. I think if you're looking for value, I think FAU points is the way to go and be brave. Take the Owls on a good money line right now. I mean, you're there's no value on the other side. Um, San Diego State's supposed to win this game, right? Like
Yeah.
FAU, and if you're thinking about how this year's
There's
played
no
out,
pressure on FAU. It's
yo,
all San Diego State. Those
and
boys are just going out there to have fun.
and doesn't that make you fear a team even more that has nothing
Oh
left
yeah,
to lose? They have nothing left to lose. They're
yeah,
gonna just play to no, and no one expects them to win. And that's the
yeah.
thing. So you're playing a team that's just who's been dangerous all tournament long. Um, I'm liking FAU too here. I'm rocking. I'll be rocking with them. I'm definitely going to be taking the money line, and I'm going to be incorporating the spread into a probably. I'm probably going to take FAU spread and Miami spread. I think those are my two. But I think as just a straight up, if you're looking for straight up bets, FAU's I think the one bet you'd want to take. That's the dog pick that I like.
I'm thinking my final prediction, since we won't, is the finals will be before. So before we come back, I don't remember, but
We might have to do a special show.
yeah, never know. I'm thinking UConn FAU matchup, and that's when the clock strikes midnight. Cinderella story's over.
Let's hope for
I
it.
think UConn is going to spank them.
I know
They're
that
that money.
if it is FAU UConn, that is going to be and that line is going to be so wide. I'm going to slam that underdog. But could you also but could you also imagine the other way? FAU Miami, the battle for Florida. For the
Yeah,
best team in college basketball coming from Florida, baby. Could that be an epic story?
didn't even think about it.
That
And neither of those teams is Florida or Florida State.
right? That oh man. Um gonna be epic. Yeah, I think if you're looking for best bets, I think FAU's got the most value here. Um and tread lightly on Miami UConn because this thing could get crazy quickly. It could. But I'm rooting for the Hurricanes, but the realistic gambler in me thinks UConn should cover the spread here. 5.5. I think they should cover. Um, Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Keep an eye out for our all of our podcasts. This has been a fun one, man. I'm excited to keep talking. This is mostly just general sports and sports news. If you have anything else you think you want us to cover, drop it in the comments. Please share below. We'd love to hear your and let us know what you think about the stuff that we've
Yeah.
just talked about. You know, are we
Tell us
crazy?
where we're wrong or why we're stupid.
Yeah, right.
Won't hurt our feelings.
Are we crazy? Are we on? Because we don't know. We don't know. We're speaking from the heart, baby. We're as real as it
The
gets.
guys talking sports.
That's it. There is no unbiased. We have no bias besides unless it's Bengals Browns. There's
Yeah,
no
if it entails anything Cleveland or Ohio State, I'm biased. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Besides that
outside of
though,
it, outside of
besides
it,
that though,
yeah,
we are
yeah.
as open as it comes. We are just calling it how we see it. And that is why we love you all so much. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, keep the change.
Thank you, everybody.